everyone. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. What's everybody up to tonight? You know where we're at. This is InspireNation, and we're here with Thomas Queter. How you guys doing? And we have Brianna here today. Thomas, how you doing this week?
I'm doing better than I was last week. I'm at the tail end of this cold. It's been a week with this sickness, I tell you what. But there's work to be done, and we've been doing the work anyhow. On that note, as you pointed out, Brianna, my campaign manager, is here with me.
Hello.
Hey.
Brianna is currently trying to get me an interview with the Forward Party for their endorsement. She was integral in getting Larry Sharp their endorsement. It'll be interesting to see if they'll also endorse me. And there's a lot of things to do in the next couple of weeks. We're, of course, setting up the campaign finance. The website's already up, as you can see. It's scrolling across. The donation link needs to be set up. For now, you can go to tom52.com if you're thinking about donating to my U.S. Senate race. That will be active until the new account is set up this week, at which point there will be a donor link on thomasqueter.us. Now, what are we doing this weekend, Brianna?
We are going to the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania's convention. I believe this will be the third time in a row I've went, and your second time, right?
Yep. We have a lot of friends in Pennsylvania. It's interesting the way the LP works. We throw our resources where they're needed most and where they can be the most efficient. And so you will see people from out of state helping my campaign. And you will see people from New York helping campaigns in Pennsylvania or other states. In fact, a friend of mine is helping Liz Terwilliger with her congressional run. She's a good candidate. She's very active in Pennsylvania. I love what she does. Then we have to prepare for petitioning. That starts on April 19th. And the second day of petitioning, what would that date be?
I believe 20th? You said the second day?
And what number month is April?
Third.
Fourth. So that
I
would
know
be
that because of 420.
420. Oh, yeah, you're going ha, but we have a supporter who owns a dispensary. And I'm thinking we should do an event at a cannabis dispensary for petitioning on 420. I'm going to reach out to him and see if we can make that happen. He already offered me the venue for an event, and we'll see what we can do with it.
Amen.
But we need cannabis reform at the federal level. That way, our states that choose to legalize know that their constituents, hi, Jim, they know that their constituents are safe from the federal government. There's a lot that we need to do.
If I may, I want to touch on a few things that you brought up. You brought up a bunch of topics. Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, they are one of the most successful LP affiliates in the country. They have 200 and something elected libertarians, partially because they do have a loophole. There are a lot of races there, a lot of local races there that New York doesn't have, where people just don't run. So what they do is they file. People can even win write-in campaigns. And one of my friends, James Lane, who calls himself a forwardist libertarian, won his election for, I believe, auditor. And he's been noticed by the Forward Party as well. And a lot of cool things have been happening. We have a lot of the same goals between the Libertarian Party and the Forward Party because we're third parties, because we have ballot access struggles. So it's been really nice to see how we've been working together and how the LP and the Forward Party has kind of just been, colliding recently. They did endorse Larry Sharp for governor, and that was.
Why did they endorse Larry Sharp?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons. I think one of the biggest reasons is because they want ballot access, and they think that Larry is going to give that to them, and they probably just don't want to endorse a Democrat or Republican, obviously. Yeah. And I think I feel pretty confident that Tom will also get their endorsement, because it was already a bit of a shock that they endorsed a libertarian for the governor candidate instead of running their own person. So if they were willing to do that, then I feel even more confident that they will endorse Tom as well.
Now, you hit on something there, Brianna, I want to bring up coalition building, because the Forward Party is a movement to bring better ballot access, more transparency to government in general, and make our government work for the people more. That's what the libertarians want. That's what a lot of third parties want. And we need to build these coalitions. We need to work together because, the Democrat and Republican Party machines, not those registered to those parties, but those machines that they have to make this thing work for them, it stacks it in their favor. But the interesting thing is most people are not Democrats or Republicans. What are they, Brianna?
Independents.
Now why are people independents?
A lot of people just know that the two-party system is bullshit, quite honestly. Like, no joke. Like, you can talk to people, and they just know what's up. Some people will still vote one way or the other, but at the end of the day, even the people that are voting among partisan lines still know.
Yeah, that they don't believe that either of those two parties actually meets their needs or fully represents them. And so they refuse to take that label. And I understand that because I never took that label. I was registered independently until I became a libertarian, and now I'm registered as a libertarian. Now, these coalitions are important because that's how we grab hold of this vast group of individual constituents registered independent. That's how we grab hold of people who are disenfranchised with the two-party system. And that's how we get them involved in their government and give them some representation, whether it's libertarians, the Forward Party, Unite New York. These are all good initiatives to work with, and I don't care which angle you come from of those three, I'll work with you.
And one of the most successful things one of the best things for a successful campaign to do is to build coalitions with people regardless of party, regardless of their partisan allegiances. Because at the end of the day, what matters is pushing good public policy. And to go back to the Forward Party for a second, Yang definitely realized that the two-party machine was just absolute BS, and that's why he wanted to make his own party. Now, I don't know how successful it'll be, but I've been watching it now. He's a policy wonk. If you saw his former campaigns, if you paid attention to them all, he had 150-something policies on his website. But the party itself is focusing on electoral reforms that will help create more parties, create a multi-party system instead of a two-party system. And I think that's why we're really building that network right now between people in the Forward Party and people in the Libertarian Party. And maybe even, the Greens will come on board with that too.
So what was it George Washington said?
I don't remember the exact quote, but something about having only two parties will be the demise of the country, the system, something like that.
He warned against allowing our electoral system to fall prey to the control of only two major parties. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're at right now. His warning has come true, right? The first president of our country, his warning has come to fruition. We are in the midst of what he warned us about. And so two parties, is that really bipartisanship? Is that a coalition when they work together? Or is that just a bigger form of one-party rule? It's kind of hard to tell on some of these issues, particularly when we're talking about war abroad.
I mean, let's be real here. When we see displays of bipartisanship, it's usually for things that are detrimental to the country rather than for things that are good and productive for the country. Yeah, they're always bipartisan when it comes to raising taxes and things like that.
Or sending our own children abroad to fight and die in an unnecessary war. They seem to be able to agree on everything that's detrimental to us. They seem to be able to agree when it comes to ruining our economy or putting our citizens in danger. They don't seem to be able to agree when it comes to recognizing that we need innovative solutions that are new and unprecedented for new times that are unprecedented. And I'm really looking forward to this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've already started forming a coalition with another independent candidate. Last cycle, I tried really hard to work with Democrats and Republicans. And what happens when third-party candidates try to work with Democrats and Republicans?
I mean, they usually get shafted, quite honestly.
Bingo. And that's what happens, right? You make all of this effort, you spend all of this time trying to sit down with Democrats and Republicans and have this conversation, and they're really just concerned about how they can manipulate you, how they can use you, how they can make sure you fail. That's their prerogative. because they already know that they can cooperate with the other second party, right? The Democrats know they can cooperate with the Republicans. Republicans know they can cooperate with the Democrats, and they don't care. They care about keeping their power and their paychecks.
We know what you meant.
Are we allowed to talk about any of the deals they made?
Oh,
2020?
well, they're not verifiable.
Wow.
Nah.
Okay, I won't speculate then.
Yeah, it's tough to speculate on things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we know because we talk to the people, but until specific people want to actually be vocal about it, we cannot prove that Fred Akshar and Donald Pardo and the two parties, Democrats and Republicans in New York, had a backdoor deal to make sure that they ran unopposed. We can't prove that. I mean, I can just tell you that throughout the entire campaign season, trying to work with Democrats and Republicans, that's all I kept hearing. But I can't prove it. That's how you say it when you can't prove it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's insane. I mean, now you look at the redistricting that happened for the Senate seats. There were 5 cuts of Senate district maps in New York. 2 Republican, 3 Democrat. All 5 of them left me only 10% of my voter base. Sounds like they were cooperating there a little bit too.
I'd say.
But you know,
Yeah, for those that haven't watched the last couple of weeks, Thomas, things have changed in your campaign.
yes.
Can you explain that?
Well, I was tapped to seek the nomination for U.S. Senate. That's a statewide race as opposed to state Senate. That's Chuck Schumer's seat, by the way. If you're not a fan of Chuck, help me out. Donate to my campaign, volunteer. Let's see how far we can chuck Chuck out the window. You know, a lot of Democrats aren't even happy with Chuck, so there's a chance here.
So I've been doing my research a little bit, looking him up online and stuff. What is what is Chuck Schumer known for the most in your book? What stands out in your head? Whether good or bad, Chuck Schumer.
I do believe he was actually heavily involved in the Ross Ulbricht situation. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Not.
This is a gentleman who never touched drugs, never used drugs, never possessed them, and yet he's doing something like 4 life sentences over drugs.
So yeah. So people in jail for victimless crime. Once again.
Not only victimless crimes, but one he did not commit. Now, after Pennsylvania, we have approximately 5 weeks to prepare for petitioning. So we'll be making our plan. At the end of May, I am also a delegate to the National Convention in Nevada this year. So I'll be going there to, it's inter-party campaigning. I'll be campaigning among libertarians at the convention, seeking support. But I'll also be doing my job as a delegate and voting where it matters. And, sometimes it's good to have that broader echo chamber. It's good for libertarians to come together and talk to each other about what's going on, what they're doing, what's working, what's not working. Normally, I'm telling people to get out of the echo chamber, right? Because you got to learn how to talk to people who aren't in the echo chamber. But there is some security and some validation to having like-minded people to talk to. So these events are a lot of fun, and they keep you going, and they give you more hope. But when I get back, well, geez, Brandon, what do we have to do after that?
Everything. We're so now that this is a statewide race, we are going to be traveling across the state of New York, and we're going to have events like crazy. We're going to do our best to be out in the field, just like we were in 2020. But instead of being just confined to District 52, we have the entire state of New York as our playground. And it's going to be fun.
You will see me down in the city this year.
I can't wait. I have waited like several years to get Tom to New York City. Because I'm from Queens, for whoever doesn't know. I came up here to rural upstate New York to work on Tom's campaign in 2020. So it's going to be fun to get him down in my territory.
Yeah, and where we are right now in Chenango County, quite the opposite of Queens.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that New York State is so diverse. Well, unless they live in New York State.
Yeah.
That's about it for the rundown, Robert. Unless Brianna, do you have anything else?
I guess not off the top of my head, but honestly, y'all, please go to our website and volunteer. Sign up to be a volunteer. We can take remote volunteers. If you want to help with literally anything like, writing or graphic design, social media, anything at all. Or if you're in New York State and you can help us petition, please sign up. Because we are going to need as many people on the ground as possible.
Yeah, that's right. We do have to get 45,000 signatures minimum. That's not just me, though. That's all 5 of our statewide candidates. That's Larry Sharp. That's Andrew Hollister. That's our AG candidate, our comptroller candidate, and myself. And,
so
and it's been fun. And I think we're going to hit it out of the park.
And potentially any down ballot candidates.
Correct.
Down in Queens, we have Jonathan Howe running for Congress against AOC, and I would love to support him as well. Like if you want to come downstate to Queens to petition, you can petition for 5 or 6 candidates. Like you could be helping Larry, Tom, Jonathan, and all the other candidates that are running for statewide races. It'll be one petition, and then boom, you're helping our entire slate. I think that's pretty cool.
I've met Jonathan. And I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do it right now. He has my endorsement. As a Libertarian, Jonathan Howe, correct?
Yeah.
Has my endorsement. He's a good guy. He means well. He knows what he's talking about, and he's an excellent candidate.
And he loves cats.
He does love cats.
Yeah, had to include that.
Well, I have a cat.
Well, yeah.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for doing this week after week, Thomas. I love the heck out of you. Springtime is coming, y'all. It's been pretty warm here in Alaska. You guys are pretty far apart, but yeah. And shout out to your jacket. Love your jacket, Brianna. Beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see you. Actually, Brianna, I get to see you on video very often, so it's nice to see you. And
I'm a little shy and awkward. I don't come out too often.
She doesn't come out very often.
You should have her on one of your other shows, Robert. She's good for it.
I'd be willing if you want me. I'm pretty bored.
Definitely. I think the more comfortable we can be talking about questions, the more I talk about it, the more I'm able to answer other people's questions. And so that's why I'm sucking up close to you guys, because I'm trying to learn from you. I'm trying to spread the love. So InspireNation.
Before we go, in the last 3 years, this is the hardest working volunteer I've ever had. She is the most loyal volunteer I've had. And I do want to point out she was a big part of helping Larry Sharp get that forward party line.
In a really roundabout way.
Well, you had the connections.
Yeah.
And
So to whoever doesn't know, I was also working on Stacey Pressman's campaign when she ran for mayor of New York City. And I was one of the people who pushed for the campaign to get the equitable basic income policy that she had released. And then Andrew Yang had followed Stacey on Twitter, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, And then from there on, I'm seeing a bunch of my libertarian friends saying the Forward Party's talking to them. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think this would happen. And it's been happening. And I just want to shout out my friend James Lane again. He's an elected libertarian in Pennsylvania. We should be seeing him this weekend. And I'm really liking the work that he's doing, too, between, as that bridge. He was elected as a libertarian, and now, he's been connecting with the Forward Party. I think that's just great, And he's always been a forwardist libertarian. Before the Forward Party even came out, he was a Yang Gang libertarian.
Now, I met him in 2020, correct?
No, not 2020. 2021? Yeah, last year. It was last year. They have the convention every year.
Was he at the Libertarian Convention or the Y'all Convention?
The Pennsylvania one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. I thought he was at the National Convention, too.
I don't think so.
No.
But anyways,
Yeah, last week, and that's good. I love seeing everybody work together. That's freaking amazing. That's what Libertarian Volunteerism, we come together. We do. Last week we had William Henry on, and we had two people running for U.S. Senate. It was amazing. And I
He's
hope
great.
this continues to grow. Yeah, Will is awesome. We had a room on Clubhouse afterwards too. I was a little bit beat, but that was a great show. You talked to Will, then, I'm assuming.
Yep. And we're going to be talking to more Libertarian U.S. Senate candidates.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out two more, actually. There's Chase Oliver running for U.S. Senate in Georgia, and there's Chris By running for U.S. Senate in Alaska.
Yeah, Chris By. We fucking love you, Chris. That's right. We're pretty good about Chris. I'm going to have him on the show, too, here eventually. Every now and then I'll have him on. We definitely align. He's an Alaska, a lifetime Alaskan like me, so naturally we have a lot of the values that are the same. No wonder why he's a libertarian. And he likes to talk because he's new in the political scene, so it's first time running for office, but he's doing a great job. And bye for sure. So there we have it. I just want to shout out to all my libertarians. You guys check us out on Liberty Talk Radio on Clubhouse if you're ever on. And also, Tom, are you going to open up another club on Clubhouse called Tom for U.S. Senate? I know you have a Tom 51 on there.
We'll see how busy I get.
All right. Okay, you guys stay tuned. Love you so much. ThomasQueter.us. Brianna, I love you. Thank you so much. You guys, God bless.